Sick makeshift tripod. Good morning, friends. I think today we're gonna be working on an Evo. Imagine that. Can't be too loud, Bobby's still sleeping. It is 6:25. Wake up, Bobby. I'm a big fan of egg. I don't know why. I literally had eggs last night for dinner when I got home. The same exact meal, actually. Turkey, bacon, some sausage, egg, and cheese. Of course, steak is better. By a mile. Oh yeah, look at that. Haha. You'd think eating this I'd be jacked by now. Not the case. That's disgusting, I bet. I have these stupid bands on. I've had my braces on for 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in like a few days. So today I think I'm gonna work on just getting more random stuff refurbished. We got the CV axles. I'll probably pull those apart. We can get them all done today. Pull them apart, recut everything. If the boots are good, reuse the boots. If they're bad, head to O'Reilly's or an auto parts store, buy new boots. I keep having problems with any sort of aftermarket CV boot clamp. Yeah, I feel like they always leak. But we should be able to get those fully refurbished. And obviously there's more we can do than that. So we'll see how fast I can be today. It's crazy. You wanna know something crazy? Well, a couple things about this carnivore diet. I've lost and I'm not trying to lose weight whatsoever. If anything, I prefer to put on a little bit of weight 'cause, I'm always trying to get bigger. It's just how I am. But I've dropped 10 pounds in 3 weeks. And I feel like I'm full all the time. I swear it's all I don't even know why. I don't know if it's internal body inflammation that is reduced when you introduce less stuff into your body. I don't know. I ain't a scientist. I'm just a carologist. That was dumb. Your energy is literally level all day. Before, I feel like when I used to eat a ton of carbohydrates, it'd go from on a 0 to 10 scale. When I'm hungry, I feel like I have the most energy, and then you'd eat. My meals used to always be the same for lunch. It would be chicken, rice, and black beans. Which obviously, with chicken there's protein, but dude, rice and black beans, ton of carb. You eat that, and then you're just tired and zooted, and then you'd have to go get a coffee, or you'd have to go get an energy drink, which we all know those energy drinks are bullshit, and you shouldn't be drinking them anyway. Jared, quit drinking 40 a day. But now, I ain't got that. Well, winter's gonna be here any freaking day now, so if I'm gonna enjoy the cars at all, it needs to be done now. You ready for the most glorious cold start for the boys out of every car that I own? I would say it's a race between this and the Evo 10, but this one takes the dub. There we go. Ho 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 ho. Funny thing is, I feel like I keep saying winter's right around the corner for a month, but if you clearly look outside, poor NSX has to sleep outside, it's got to be right around the corner. Every year it snows, well before now, it's freaking November 21st. I don't know how we have not got snow. It did snow a little bit yesterday, I'm not gonna lie, but it was a smidgen. which in my opinion, a smidgen doesn't really count as snow. There's this little boy right next door. He's got to be like 7 or 8 years old. Every time I leave or come home, he's outside. And if it's like later on in the day, not so early, he'll line up and try to race me. I would love to, like, you know, give him a tour of the cars or give him a ride, but his dad gives me the death glare every time. I think it's because my cars are too loud. But his son's a car boy, so... Oh, shit. These uncontrolled intersections get you every time. What do you do? What do you do? So the main holdup that's gonna be tying things up with the Evo is PDR. We try to get that quarter fixed. I don't know what I'm doing. It was supposed to initially go to PDR last Tuesday, but being that sandblasting took longer than expected, the car was supposed to be back from sandblast on Tuesday of last week, which is exactly a week ago. That pushed everything back, and then I called him when I got the car. I called PDR when I got the car on Thursday and said, yo, this thing's ready to go, I can come drop it off. And he said, I have a hail damage car right now that's gonna take a while, so call me next Tuesday and see what's going on. So that's my impatience getting the best of me. But maybe it's a good thing, because I need to learn how to be more patient. I heard a quote one time, I think it was from Frisella, and he literally said, how do you become more patient? You practice things that require patience. And maybe that's what I need to do, is be patient with my PDR man. But as soon as it's back from PDR, we're not really waiting on anyone else, and I can work rather quickly and efficiently and effectively on my own cars. So I could get this thing done pretty quick. It's not like the Type R where I'm trying to learn a bunch of new stuff. It's like my old Evo, imagine that, where I'm just refurbishing parts, which I've done many times, and I'm pretty efficient at that. Oh, smokes. We need gas really bad. We are below E. We're less than empty. The only gas station close is Nom Nom, of all places. A freaking Nom Nom. Do they even have 92 here? Well, we have to get a touch of 91 and then go to the 92 station. Shit, they only got 91. 91 it is. If you guys didn't know, this thing is boosted, right? It's got a VF 650 kit on her. So I think I'm supposed to actually be running 93, but we don't have 93 really around here. But we got 92, and that's better than 91. But you know what's not better than 91 is running out of gas. I don't know why, but anytime I fill this car up, I have to take the nozzle. I'll show you here in a second. You have to take the nozzle and flip it upside down. I don't know if that's a BMW thing or if that's just a my M3 thing, but that's the only way it doesn't stop filling every few seconds. It's super freaking annoying. One day I'll figure that out. It might have something to do with the check engine light. It has a CEL for like emissions. That's what I mean. So some of you guys were wondering how I got my license suspended. If you remember back, Bobby and I went to Vegas in the NSX right after I bought it, and then on the way back, we were coming through Oregon, and I got pulled over. He said I was doing 105 on a 65 or 70, which he was full of shit. That's enough gas for now. We don't want a whole lot of 91. Completely full of shit, because I know for a fact that car does not even probably do 105 miles an hour. Anyway, we fought it, we lost. And so of course, Oregon being Oregon, and the kind of, you know, I don't like Oregon. it's kind of like California. It's just not a state I would ever prefer to be in. They said my license was suspended. Now here was like the gray area, was when I talked to the lawyer, he said they're gonna tell Washington State, because I live in Spokane, they're gonna tell Washington State and Washington will suspend your license. Now I never heard from Washington State, and as of 2 days ago, my Oregon license, which I don't have an Oregon license, but I don't really know how any of that works. All I know is that Washington never hit me up, sent me a letter, sent me an email, called me. They never came to my door and said, yo, you can't drive. I'm not saying I drove, you know. I definitely wasn't driving for 30 days. But I don't know if it was actually suspended in Washington State or not. But regardless, I wish I knew that cop's name so I could let him know he's a cock. I definitely wasn't doing 105. Yes, I did not have insurance on the car yet, but it was within the 15-day grace period of buying the car, so technically I did have insurance. But yeah, 105, huh? In a 91 NSX. Now, I would probably do it, but I can assure you guys I was not doing 105. So the goal is to make this pile of parts smaller every single day until there's no parts left and until we have a painted car, and then we take all of our brand new parts, put it on the brand new painted body or shell, and technically speaking, we have a brand new car at that point. So let's grab these crusty axles. Now these aren't going to be restored to a quote-unquote factory spec, meaning we're not doing factory colors on here. Quite frankly, the factory kind of sucks because they do a green on the transmission or the diff side, and then always on the hub side they leave it bare, just bare exposed raw metal, and as you can see it rusts, and they have some sort of crappy paint on this shaft here. So these guys are going to be fully powder coated, so they last and are better than factory. We need to disassemble them. Every single boot looks like it's in good condition. No tears, which OEM boots are by far the best in my opinion. This car was missing an axle, so I picked up a replacement. ODM is the brand. It looks like it's proper. And even though it's brand new, I'm still gonna pull this one apart. And because you literally can see right here, this is bare metal, which is gonna rust. So let's get them disassembled. Just grab some pliers and put it on this little nipple right here and twist her back and forth. It's always a good way to break these clamps off here. I wish someone made OEM style clamps because they're definitely better than any sort of aftermarket clamp, but no one does that I can find. Beware, this is where it gets very messy. I don't know what's worse, CV grease or like ETF. I think CV grease is probably the nastiest thing to deal with, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and slide this boot back, reveal all of the grease. These joints are beautiful, they're nice and tight still. Yep, and there's the first chunk of grease. It's definitely old. So I always start out with getting all the clamps off first. And we can go from there. Oh, nice. Looks like there's been some water in this guy before. So that one just pops right off. That's the inner of one of the fronts. And then as soon as that's off, if you pull back this grease, you will reveal a little circlip. And then as soon as the clip comes off, your tripod comes off. And last but not least, your boot comes off. Now we can take this boot, slide her off that away. These outer joints are never fun to pull. Let's hope they cooperate today. So there's a circlip on the inside. or like a little retaining clip on the inside of this hub right here on the shaft. So it's like a slip joint. You have to like pull on it hard enough for that clip to depress and pull through the hub. It's a little bit dumb. But once again, if it's been done before, we can do it ourselves. If someone put it together, it can come apart. So if I remember correctly, this is what I've done in the past. Ha 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 ha. She cooperated well. There's that little clip I was talking about. One whole CV's nearly apart. That's always the hardest thing, is getting that inner off. So now we're gonna take this guy, flip it over, and if you want to coat this like we are, you gotta make it bare. So, tap the hub down to one side, and each and every one of these little balls will pop on out. And then eventually, the whole shenanigan comes out. One complete CV torn apart, 3 more to go. Oh boy, good old aftermarket parts. So, everything else is apart. All the other joints and boots are off. As you can see, there's only 7 because, of course, this aftermarket Jimmy down here is not cooperating. All the OEM ones popped out like they should. I'm talking about that outer clip, the one that's in here. All the other ones, the OEM ones, came out mint. But this little son of a gun is testing me. So, I'm finagling. I should probably buy a nicer vise one day. Things like a hunk. I should probably put gloves on so I don't hurt myself again. Okay, so here is what we're gonna do. We got that in the vise. It's gonna be a little difficult being that it has to be on the ground for this to properly work, I think. Well, it doesn't have to be, but it just is. I'm gonna take this guy, spin that up. Please work. That thing is on there. Good. Now if we put this hose clamp on, maybe it'll help with our claws not popping off. Let's put it right there. You frickin' frick. All right, what else could I do? There we go. Well, it's pulling the CV out of the frickin' vise, dude. I don't want to screw this thing up. It is not moving at all. Did I weld this damn thing on or what? You prick. So there's this tool that we need that I just ordered. I cannot find it anywhere locally. Big shout out to all of Spokane for not having this tool, but this is definitely going to help us. So it's called the CV joint removal tool, and it looks like this guy here. I got it on Amazon, and apparently it's 1-day shipping, so it should be here tomorrow. That guy. That should help take this joint apart, which I just wish I could find one locally so we could do it today. But, you know, we can still make some good progress. Let's get everything else cleaned up. Let me show you a good old trick of the trade when cleaning up nasty stuff. And it's cheap, way cheaper than degreaser. Degreaser's nice, but for junk like this, man, you're gonna wanna grab, it's messy everywhere, a drain pan. And as you can see, I have some well-used gasoline. Now it's a little stinky, but if you want your parts clean fast, do this. Now, take all your joints. I already wiped the majority of the grease out of them. We're gonna set them in here and they're gonna soak in there, and this gas is gonna eat away all of that grease. Okay. Beautiful. And then if you really wanna be quick, you're gonna take another one. Fill this guy up with grease, or with gasoline as well. And this is gonna be for all the small parts. Now here's the ticket. You take this guy so your parts don't go missing. All the tripods are gonna go in here, the little hubs. Put your balls in here. Well, not your balls, but like your CV balls. Oh shit, we don't got enough gas. You know what? I'll be able to find those, it's fine. But this thing's handy, really handy for bolts and whatnot. For the shafts, I just grab this little brush, get them all cleaned up on the end here where the grease was. Whoever invented gasoline is a genius. Not only is it good for cleaning up your parts, but just look at this. Wipe off all the grease on your table. You can wash your hands in it. I'm kidding. Probably don't do that. Unless you want to, you can. I ain't gonna say you can't. Well, I guess it's a bit unrealistic to expect everything to go to plan every single day when building cars. The days it does go to plan, that's a fat W. It's really good, but it's rare. It's super rare. So moving on to this here steering rack or rack and pinion, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is. We're gonna go ahead and rebuild this guy. I bought a rebuild kit, like a rebuild seal kit for it. The boots are in good shape. The outer tie rods are hammered, so we'll toss those. And the rest of it's just crusty, as you guys can see. So yeah, let's pull it apart. I've pulled apart one of these things in my life. Hopefully I can remember how this goes. It's not an OEM washer. All right, we're done. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and pull off all the lines. We're gonna pull off the boots, get the tie rods off, and then we're gonna be left with just the rack itself. That should make life a little bit easier, a little bit less complicated to look at. With the lines and the outer tie rods off and the boots off, we can move forward with getting these inner tie rods off. So there's this little security washer, I guess you'd call it. Just grab a little flathead or a punch. Pop that guy out of the way. And now we're gonna grab, I don't think I got a wrench that big. Does not do the trick. Set her on the ground. Get a little extra pressure on her and she busted loose. Also, if you use the pliers the right way, it usually helps.
Okay. There was a couple bolts and a nut on the backside for that guy. And now the shaft, if I'm not mistaken, should come out. Let's pull that cap off. There's probably something under there holding it up. This might call for a Google session. So after a quick Google session, I found out there's a wire holding in that seal. So we gotta somehow get that wire out. And then it's magical. Well, I finally got that clip out. I don't think I got it out correctly because it's a little mangled, but it's out. Now this guy just pops on off. Look at there. Bare, empty, completely disassembled. A little bit of degreaser. Let's get it cleaned up. And then I can run through and slap new seals and all this, and it'll be brand freaking new. So I got this piece all cleaned up and the other small aluminum piece with a little bit of degreaser and the aluminum brightener. Looks much better, but now this piece down here is hammered. I can't really powder coat it. You can't separate these two. It looks like it's tack welded on or spot welded on. Either way, I'm not gonna worry about powder coating this. I'm just gonna clean it up, mask off this piece, and paint this guy. But there's only one kind of paint I like to use, right, Bobby?
Right.
It's called SEM paint. It's 30 bucks a can, but it's definitely the way to go. If I can't get this damn car into PDR, I'm doing it myself.
Hello.
Hey Dan, it's Devin.
Yeah,
How's it going?
good.
Just checking in on when I could drop this good old Mitsubishi off.
Thinking this morning about you, thinking, well, I'm sure I told them next week because this week's Thanksgiving.
I talked to you last Thursday or Friday. You said to call on Tuesday to see how that hail damage was going.
I just finished it.
Okay. Well, I can drop her off whenever. Just let me know and I'll bring her by.
Well, yeah, I guess you can bring it by. I mean, I'm not going to be working Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
And I got this dealer work that I haven't touched because I tried to get this hail damage job done. So I'd like to spend the rest of my afternoon and tomorrow on that.
Okay.
So maybe just drop it off Monday.
Sheesh. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, I'll shoot you a call Monday morning, or I'll just swing around by. You said 9 a.m.
Yeah.
is usually when you open.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. All right. Sounds good, man.
Yeah, I'll put you on the calendar.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. See, I'm not impatient. I just can't stand waiting on people. Maybe that is impatience. It's so frustrating because it was supposed to be at PDR Tuesday of last week, and it keeps getting pushed back. Is that me being impatient? It's so frustrating because now the whole build literally gets pushed back 2 weeks because of PDR. Yeah. Is that me being impatient? Or is that me just getting frustrated that, hey, the F80. I'm gonna see if I can have someone else do it because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I will literally pay anyone anything they want to come do it now. You know what I'm saying?
Should I go right now?
Yeah. All right, boys, I got it all scuffed up on the grinder with a Prime MX pad. Shout out to my brother Cameron for supplying that pad. So this thing's ready to go. Got her masked off, and you guys already know I'm not a big fan of rattle can, but if we do have to rattle can something, this SEM direct to metal easy coat paint, definitely the way to go. It holds up the best. It looks really, really good. 30 bucks, but I'd rather spend 30 bucks and do it right versus spend $5 and not do it right. Spray over the garbage can so we can go overspray in the rest of the shop. This is a little bit ghetto feeling, but it'll turn out good. All right, let that dry up. Give her maybe, see if it says in between coats. Coats, 2 to 3 medium coats, flash time 5 to 10 minutes. So 5 to 10 minutes in between coats, and I'm gonna do 2 coats. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of this piece right here. Now I know you can't see it, but still, 20 seconds on here, she'll be freaking brand new again, dude. Bam. So there's a couple little things I am going to powder coat. So we're doing new outer tie rods, but these inners are really crusty. The threads are nasty. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these cleaned up first in the sandblaster. We need to mask off this joint right here, just so we don't get any sand in there. But get them cleaned up in the blaster. I'm gonna chase these threads and make them brand new again. I mean, we could just replace them, but I'm a big fan of OEM parts for the most part. And then these brake lines too. These things are pretty freaking hammered. And this is like a dark green color from the factory. The closest thing I have here is gonna be like a charcoal black or a charcoal gray. So all this is gonna go a nice charcoal color and look absolutely beautiful. I wanted to let you guys know as well before I forget, Vossen Black Friday details. So we are launching on Thursday night at midnight, like a true Black Friday shenanigans should be. And what we're doing, if you guys have been a customer of the brand for a while, which I really appreciate those of you that have, and those of you that have considered but haven't yet pulled the trigger, when you do, you'll understand why it's the best automotive apparel company in the world. But what we're doing is a buy two, get one free. So if you buy 2 t-shirts, you're gonna get a third t-shirt for free. And all the shirts that we are giving away, the third free tee, it's all stuff that we printed for previous drops. So it's all amazing stuff. Like you could get one of these automotive lifestyle tees, you could get an Evo tee, an STI tee. There's so much cool stuff you could get. So yeah, buy 3 get one, or buy 2 get one free is the deal going down on Thursday night at midnight. Don't miss out. All right. So we got these guys masked off. I know this isn't sandblast rated, but I'll just keep the blaster over here. Let's get them cleaned up in the blaster. I swear sandblasting is probably one of the most boring things you could possibly do with your day, but it's the right way to do it if you're gonna powder coat. Bam, bam, bam. Dunzo. Everything is blasted. We need to swap out this tape right here for some actual powder coat tape, heat resistant tape. And of course, like thinnest width I have is like 40 feet wide, but we'll make do. These things should look pretty nice all finished up. I masked off the nut here, just so it stays that nice zinc color. Very excited. It's all the little things with the build, man. I'm telling you. Like, of course, you ain't ever, no one's ever gonna see this at all. Besides me, right now, when I'm building this car. And that excites me, knowing that it's gonna be nice and no one can see it. I'm pretty excited. There's a couple little things, like on the, I'll just grab it real quick. For example, this power steering line, this is supposed to be zinc plated. I should have dropped that off with zinc. I don't know why I didn't, but there's this company, I think it's Eastwood, that makes like a zinc colored rattle can paint. I ordered some of that up. I'm hoping that's actually pretty good for stuff like that, and something like the throttle cable bracket as well, where it's part of the throttle cable and you can't really, there's not a good way, at least that I know of detaching the bracket from the cable. But if you want that nice OEM look, you need to zinc plate it. So I ordered some of that zinc, it's obviously not zinc, but zinc colored paint up. That should be in a couple days. So we can test it out on like that power steering line and whatnot. I was hoping to drop off all the other aluminum parts today at Vaporhone as well, but they have yet to get back to me with that sample part I dropped off, because I don't want to bring everything there, have it all done, and actually not like how it looks. I like the look of glass bead, or even like a silver Cerakote is really nice. So that's the thing with builds, man, is waiting on other shops when you need their services. You're on their timeline, unfortunately. So it always holds it up a little bit, as you guys can see with the freaking mother freaking PDR. That's insane. I'm trying to think in my mind if I have even enough different projects to work on until Monday is when he wants it dropped off now. Which she's usually pretty quick. I'm sure it'll be there for 2 or 3 days and it'll be done. But realistically, we have a motor build, a trans build, a T-case build, a bunch of other powder coat stuff to do. So, and it is Thanksgiving on Thursday. That'll keep me occupied. Gonna wrap that guy up there. Let's get it all masked off, tossed in the oven, get these guys powder coated out, and we can assemble this rack provided I can find my rebuild kit. Alrighty boys, our rack is locked and loaded. We got all 4 goodies on here. So they're gonna go in the oven for what I call a pre-bake cycle. Some people call it a gas out cycle, gas out phase, whatever. You put them in the oven for like 30 minutes, it burns all the BS off. You take them back out, let them cool down, and you spray out the powder, and you're done. So your powder coat gun, that was sus. Powder coat gun's gonna have a power source and a air source. Man, I've been powder coating for so freaking long. Like one of the first things I ever learned how to do. And some of y'all think it's hard, but it's so easy if you use good powder and a decent gun. Okay, so this is your grounding clip. Wasn't gonna ground through tape. And then you plug in your air, bam. Power right here, and you coat. Before it goes back in the oven, oh yeah, this is why we grab a little light. It's a little bit of a not quite covered light spray right on the bottom of one of these inners. Now definitely wear a mask when you're doing this. Now we put them in the oven to bake this powder into the metal. I don't know if it actually goes in, but onto the metal. I think powder coating is probably the strongest coating you can do. I think this was definitely the right move on the color for the tie rods and these little brake lines. If I could do all the brake lines this color, that'd be sick. But of course, the lines that run from the ABS pump all the way to the rear calipers, they would not fit in any sort of oven that I'm aware of. I did go ahead and find the power steering pump rebuild, or power steering repair kit. It's all the seals and everything. Well, let's see what's all included in this kit so we know what we can even replace. Also, my finger freaking got cut and it will not stop bleeding. All right, we got quite a bit of stuff in here. This is nice. This is good. Gates makes a quality product. Y'all know Gates is the way to go. We got the boot clamps and a seal, whole lot of seals. So as I pull a seal off, I'll put a new seal on just so I know where everything goes. Got all the seals and control rings and everything replaced that we needed to replace. And now it's time to assemble and see how beautiful this thing looks. And hopefully it works when we're all said and done. That'd be nice. So, got a little bit of ATF here for lube. Lube some goodies up as it goes back together. It's always a good idea. Know what I'm saying? I just kind of messed up the paint a little bit. That makes me sad. That orange towel had acetone on it. So do we spend another freaking hour making this thing perfect again? Or just let that dry and understand that it's gonna be like, maybe I could just polish it or something. Why did that happen? That's not fun. Well, I think I could still fix it if it was together, so I'm gonna keep assembling. So it looks like this guy has a preset depth, and the more you thread it in, the more pressure it would put on that I don't even honestly know what it's called, so I'm not gonna try to sound smart. Regardless, I just left it where it was. So, I know it's gonna be fine, because it was fine before. Put this guy back on where she belongs. And then down here, I think you'd call this a pinion. It looks like a pinion to me. This nut goes on, and quite frankly, I'm not sure how tight that goes. See if it says on the instructions. No. I'm just gonna tighten it. It's a power steering rack. It's not like an actual pinion, like a T-case. So I'm just gonna use an educated guess of a couple turns on a ratchet. And if it don't work, well, then we're gonna have a problem. That feels about right. Still spins, still turns, everything still works. Let's call her there. Can we all agree that's a good stopping point? Okay, we are moving right along. Let's slap in our bolts. I found 2 nice zinc plated bolts laying around. Oh yeah, these are gonna be sweet. Not quite the OEM style. I mean, it's an OEM bolt off of Mitsubishi, but it's not the OEM bolt for this rack. Definitely better than what was on here. And a zinc plate 2 bolts is a long process. I just want to get these lines on and see how good they look. Oh, Devin, sometimes you are funny. It would help if it was on the right way, wouldn't it? That looks more like it. Best part, our new powder coated lines. Too bad you guys can't see. There. So, what is it, 12? Yeah, these are nice. The zinc plated little banjo nut guys. And don't forget, there's a little O-ring on the end of each one of these lines. If you don't have those on, she'll be a leaky son of a gun. Sheesh, that is nice. This is a nice rack. Look at this rack. I don't like how the line is hitting the rack. I don't know if it's supposed to hit it stock, but it's gonna scratch your paint. Put just a tiny little air gap in between there. There, we're good to go. Now we can move on to the inner ties and our boots. I don't know if I have outer ties laying around, but I might. That would be sweet if we could just get this thing complete and ready to put on the car. Let me clear the table for some exciting action. This thing deserves a blanket to lay on so she don't get scratched. Wow, it's a nice towel. Nice towel. There we go. So, where are we at? We need our inner tie rods. Still a little bit warm from the powder. I think I'm gonna clean up these threads just a little bit more with that Scotch-Brite or the scuff wheel, the prime wheel, just so they're nice, you know? Nice threads are nice. I don't know if I should laugh or cry. So I figured these joints were just metal on metal, like with grease packed inside. That's all hard plastic. So these inners are shot. I mean, it might work for a minute, but our steering's gonna be pretty crusty. It's so sad because they're so beautiful, but I'm so dumb that I did not know how these were. Well, that sucks. New OEM, which is what I prefer, with shipping, $120 a side. That's $240. I'm about to go on Rock Auto or eBay, maybe. So 2003. Tie rod end. They don't sell. Ugh. Well, the front inners on Rock Auto, a Beck Arnley brand, which I feel like that's decent. $16 a side. I'm gonna have to do that. 30 versus 240. That's not bad, but do they fit is the problem. It says 03 to 06 Lancer. Well, I'm gonna move on. Kind of another slight L, but it's okay because I learned, right? So, I'm gonna paint this guy. I can't powder coat this because it's a brake booster and I'm sure there's stuff internally that probably can't get hot. I mean, if an inner tie rod can't get hot, I'm sure a brake booster can't get hot. And initially I was gonna paint this with the body of the car. Yeah, I bought a set of those clippers because I know you fucking keep stealing mine, so.
I definitely do have those.
Yeah, that's fine, I bought another pair. Where was I? I was gonna paint this with the body of the car, right? The chassis of the car was supposed to go original Phantom or tarmac black. But boys, I worked out last night and I thought about it. I haven't even read the comments on yesterday's video, so I don't know what you guys think, but the more I think about this, the more I want this car a cool color. I've already had black, tarmac black Evos. And, well, it'd be cool. Yellow's calling my name. I don't know why. Bobby doesn't want it to be yellow. I think it'd be cool. So I might paint it yellow. So just in case I paint it yellow, let's paint this guy right now. Just giving her a good scuff with red Scotch-Brite. There's a little bit of peeling paint right up in here, so I'm trying to smooth that out. I might grab some sandpaper for that. Nice little slice of 400 grit should do the trick. Yeah, it's like a real big dilemma in my life right now is what color to paint this car. Yeesh. Real big dilemma. In this bottle is wax and grease remover. That's what I use when I'm painting an actual car. And it works really good for a final cleanse. Get all this wax and grease off. Oh yeah, she's dirty. She's a dirty girl. I should probably be wearing gloves so I don't get any of my own oils on it. But I'll do a final wipe down where I'm grabbing it and she should be good, right? I mean, it is just a brake booster, so should be good. Anytime you use wax and grease remover before you paint, you want to wait about 15 minutes just so anything can evaporate off. In the meantime, I'm going to try to put a little bit of masking tape down in this hole so it's OEM spec. I'll just kind of bunch it up and jam it down in there. Now, would it really matter if we got paint in there? It wouldn't affect anything, but as an OEM spec, is it DV Niemela spec? Not really. It feels weird rattle canning something. But I'm telling you boys, if you haven't used this paint, you should. They should also sponsor me. I could use some money right now for this build. And some more paint. While that old girl dries, this box contains something that is freaking expensive. Let's open her up. I wish this would have arrived like a month ago when we were actually working on this car. But it's still cool that it's here for whenever we decide to get the, that's it. Very glorious all-wheel drive Type R back on the lift because we have a fully built all-wheel drive T-case for the Type R. So this guy has a billet drag cartel cover. It's got the PPG hypoids. It has the PPG transfer gears. It has every single thing that you could possibly have for a Honda K-Series T-case. So we sent this thing out a couple months back when we were working on that car. That car still has a stock T-case in it. Thankfully, it's super easy to swap out. Obviously, I don't really care to work on it right now because we're doing Evo things, and Evo things are my jam. But it's super nice that this is here. Now I need to send him another one. Who did this? It's one of the big names in the Honda world. Aaron Lopez. So I'm gonna send him out my other one for the EM1 that's also destroyed. They can build that guy, and then we can get both all-wheel drive Hondas back on the road. I mean, the Type R is on the road, but like, let's be honest, it's not very fast right now. It's turned down to like 500 wheel. I mean, it's quick, but not as quick as it should be. This little girl turned out pretty freaking good for a rattle can Jimmy paint job. Check her out. It probably would look a little bit more shiny, but honestly, it's a brake booster, and I don't think it should have a high gloss level. The gloss level on her is pretty good. That's nice. I love that paint. I don't hate winter, but the one thing I do hate is when you gotta pull cars in at night. Thankfully, the majority of them, the cold start for the boys are pretty good. And I think we actually have to take this old girl home tonight because Jared, of course, stole the M3. Other than the intercooler pipe hitting the body, cold start for the boys is good on that one. Now this car, this thing right here, needs some more love. She keeps killing the battery and now doesn't rev over 4,200 RPM. And then as soon as it hits 4,200, it sounds like you're on freaking rolling anti-lag. And it throws a check engine light for a cam crank sync error. So yeah, I'm sick of this car, if I'm being completely honest. But then again, there's been times where I cannot stand literally any kind of car that we have. There's been times where I freaking hate Evos, Subarus especially, and then of course the whole M3 saga where I cannot stand BMWs for a minute. There was a time pretty recently where Bobby and I were dead certain that we were getting rid of this STI. When I had all the fueling issues. Damn it, Jared. Yeah, my gym key. When I was having all the fueling issues, it's all fixed now, and I freaking love this car now, and Bobby does too, I think. But we were certain for a minute this thing was getting sold.
Hello?
I'm assuming you have my gym key?
Oh, fuck. Yes.
Where are you?
I'm at the 76, just past that roundabout. I can just drive to you. Are you at the gym?
No, I'm heading there right now, so I'm going right by you.
Oh. Okay.
Alright, I'll be there in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Later. Well, boys, unfortunately, there's not a good place for the camera to chill in Bobby's STI, so I'm gonna have to put you guys to sleep. That sounded silly. But I'll see you tomorrow. Alright? Have a good night.